Burn Line Podcast. The burn line on a well-crafted cigar is straight and sharp as a razor, much like our wit and wisdom. And what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, over the age of 21, you are listening to Burn Line Podcast, coming to you not live from the hot box, the smoky back room where deals are struck and fortunes are made, adjacent to the Rocky Patel Cigar Lounge, nestled amongst the complex of rooms that comprise Davidoff Cigars, Westminster, Maryland, USA. I'm your host, Johnny Midas.
And I'm Ofumo. That was caught off guard.
You were caught off guard enough that you didn't get me any coffee, motherfucker.
I asked you, you said no.
Well, you know what? What are we smoking today? Enough of this bullshit. All right, we have something awesome for you guys. This is the Diamond Crown Holiday Special.
Yeah. And they send you this massive cigar to smoke, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You like that? So this is our Diamond Crown Maximus. This is the Diamond Crown Holiday Collection. You remember a few weeks ago we were talking about so few companies come out with a Christmas special. Mm-hmm. Fucking waste.
They heard you.
No, they've been doing this for a while. I'd like to take credit. Here's what this is. Ooh. First of all, it is a gorgeous 3-stick wooden, or maybe it's some kind of press board.
Hey, it's 2-stick. False advertisement.
Cigar holder with a leather exterior. It says Diamond Crown. It's beautiful. I'm not a red guy. I like green because it's the color of money.
Yeah.
It comes with 3 cigars. They release this every year. There's only 2 in here because I smoked one already. But this is the first year with 2 Diamond Crown Cameroon Select.
Nice.
Torpedoes. Is that a torpedo or a belicoso?
That should be torpedo. No, yeah. It doesn't matter because the rules are made up anyway when it comes to.
Well,
when it comes
you're
to
not lying.
Vitolas.
This retails for $74.95 here at Davidoff Cigars Westminster, or it did. If you haven't got one yet, you're out of luck because these sell out fast. This year sold out super fast because this Cameroon Select is a very special cigar, which we're going to talk about.
Wow, $75
for 3 cigars and a really beautiful. It's a
deal and a half.
Hard case. It's leather covered, but it's a hard case.
Yeah,
crush proof.
That's a deal and a half.
It is a really good deal.
Holy shit!
And since there's 2 Cameroons, we're gonna smoke them on the show.
Okay.
One for Johnny Midas and one for El Fumo.
Cool.
By the way, nice Carhartt hoodie.
Yeah, you as well.
Thank you.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Let's just say that I'm a man of discriminating taste. And when it comes time to buy a hoodie, I'm limited in the brands that I will endorse and support with my cash.
I don't really care. These were on sale. And I actually work. Hey, we're both forklift certified, so these actually count.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the shtick, I guess, with Carhartt. People buy them to look like they work.
So obviously, in case you couldn't tell by the secondary band that says Cameroon Select, this has a Cameroon wrapper, which you can tell. See that? See that? See that? Mm-hmm. These are little flaws. We're going to talk about why Cameroon wrappers have these little flaws in them in a bit. Before we cut and light, we always like to sort of look at the cigar. The presentation, of course, in this box, it's fucking gorgeous. I don't like the cello. I like cellophane. I think that all cigars should have cellophane because it protects the cigar before I consume it. And if you do have tobacco beetles, they don't get out. You don't ruin. I mean, I have thousands of dollars of cigars in my home.
Yeah.
That I'm collecting. Like, I want them in cello. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't like that these are in cello because it looks ugly. So I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth.
These are cool as shit, though.
Very cool. So just looking at it, the color scheme is pretty good. I don't like the secondary band.
It's kind of weird, ain't it? It's just like blah.
The color is wrong. It clashes with the browns that are in the Diamond Crown label. And then the worst part is this white text. So
makes it a counterfeit.
A little bit. It reminds me a little bit of the cigar we smoked last week.
Oh.
You know, where the secondary band.
Are we allowed to say the name?
Of what?
Davidoff?
Yes, that episode already aired. The Davidoff Year of the Snake. They just kind of clashed a little bit, but you're absolutely right. It's different enough that it looks like counterfeit.
It looks counterfeit.
It's one of those Jamaican cohibas. Or
no,
something.
this got smuggled literally out of Africa.
Yeah. So it looks good. It's beautiful. And we need to get it cut and lit so that we can start enjoying it.
Okay.
Since this is a cigar podcast. And with that, it is time for the official cutting.
Yes.
Brought to you by... The official cutting is brought to you by Lord Baltimore Distributors. Featuring proprietary blends available nowhere else, Lord Baltimore Distributors are meticulously crafted boutique cigars made in small batches for every palate. Lord Baltimore Distributors, when only the best will do. And I am clipping my cigar with the Craftsman's Bench open-ended double guillotine cutter, which, by the way, this is Craftsman's Bench is a J.C. Newman product. We are smoking a J.C. Newman product.
Hashtag not sponsored.
We've been doing a lot of J.C. Newman lately.
Yeah, we're literally not sponsored.
But, you know, this is the Diamond Crown Cameroon Select, which, if you don't know, you'll have a much bigger appreciation for by the end of... Ah!
Yeah.
And you are using the cigar design. That is such a slick fucking cutter. All right.
That's something James Bond would definitely fucking use. You know.
And as always, we remind you to clip that cigar with authority.
Oh, look at that. Exactly.
No limp-wristed cutting allowed. Yep, you got the
angle.
Yep, the angle.
I definitely would anyway, but damn.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. What you do?
Little wrapper crack.
Little accident. You know what's funny? I did too.
Well, that's kind of normal with a Cameroon wrapper. We're going to talk about that. Lick and stick. This one won't affect anything. All right, let's get these fuckers lit up. I am lighting with my ST DuPont flat flame dual flame. The official lighting is brought to you by 2C Premium Coffee. Keep your day fueled with delicious coffee from 2C Premium Coffee. Featuring select beans from Bali, Kenya, Ethiopia, and around the world, 2C Premium utilizes continual roasting, so you are always getting a truly fresh cup of premium coffee. 2C Premium Coffee, morning made us. And as always, we remind you, toasted, not roasted. Treat that cigar with the love and respect it deserves, and it will return the flavor. I love my lighter. It's just delicate.
I like this. This actually does a pretty good job. I can be pretty far away.
You're roasting yours a little there, buddy.
We're good.
We like to take turns being cut light prep snobs.
Yeah.
But this part of it, I mean, you know, it really started with Nick. He was the guy. But it really, like, the show started with the understanding that if you meticulously perform the steps, you have a better cigar smoking experience. Any one step is like, but if you get them all right, it's amazing. Speaking of amazing, how about that fucking first couple of puffs?
Yeah, that's weird. It is pretty good, though.
Fucking rookie. I'm running out of juice. I want my gas station meth torch.
Sweet. That's a jet engine.
A couple of long, slow draws and puffs to keep from charring that, and also to keep from sucking any burnt tobacco, roasted tobacco in the barrel. You don't want to chuff the first few puffs. You want long, slow.
There's an interesting flavor there already.
Yeah, it's called Cameroon.
Yeah, I haven't had Cameroon in a while.
All right, so this Vitola is, they call it a belicoso, 6 3/4 by 54.
They just need to be called torpedoes, man. Like,
well, it's like, and then, okay, so what's a pyramide? Yeah. You know, like, come on, guys.
Okay, that one, like, that one's obvious. Like, that one's like fucking, you know, that rocket from that one movie?
First Contact?
No, they didn't have a rocket.
Anyway, this is a 6 3/4 by 54. Quite a bit of cigar.
The Dictator.
And actually, yeah. This is very large for a Cameroon cigar. We'll talk about that in a minute.
That's what she said.
And it has a... It's not large for a Cameroon. It's large for a Cameroon wrapped cigar. It has a Dominican binder and undisclosed filler. And as I said, the MSRP is $75 for a beautiful leather hard case that carries 3 cigars that are fairly, like, you can fit 3 Gordos in there. You can see This is almost 7 inches by 54.
What's the MSRP in an individual stick? Do you know?
You cannot get the individuals.
Oh, shit.
They're only available in this pack. More on that later. Okay. So $25 a stick, except you're getting a cigar case that you're going to pay at least $25 for. Mm-hmm. Probably more.
More, definitely.
So, fantastic deal. So, tasting notes.
I'm getting like legit roasted like African coffee.
Mm-hmm. This tastes so much like the African espresso shot coffee from 2C Premium.
Okay.
Definitely reminds me of it. I cursed myself out this morning because I left the house without that coffee.
This reminds me of this Ethiopian blend I like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny. It's like, damn, that's very similar. It's just kind of wild.
So, like is typical of Cameroons, you have got...
Are they French?
Yes.
Yes. That's what I thought.
Yes. But I pronounce it like Spanish. The entire like baking spice rack is in there. Mm-hmm. You just have to separate it out. Cinnamon is obvious. Nutmeg is obvious. There's some baking soda in there. Some kind of noticeably absent flavors. There's nothing like earth. There is mineral, but there's not earth. There's not leather. There's a touch, like a hint of pepper.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's something spicy. I don't know if it's pepper, though.
Yeah, it's like masala. It's like chicken masala.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. There's something there. If you slightly hold it, and then let it come out out your retro. Like right in the back.
Yeah, and it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good. That's fantastic. So, a few notes about this cigar. Arturo Fuente himself developed this blend.
Oh, shit.
It is hand-rolled in the Dominican Republic at the Tabacalera A Fuente y Cia. So, at the Fuente factory.
Okay.
The Diamond Crown Cameroon Select was originally released in 2020 as a limited run of 3,000 individual coffin boxes. There was only 3,000 of those cigars in the world. Probably a lot less. A lot of them got smoked. It's a damn good cigar. Traditionally in the holiday pack, they include one, and there's two this year. That's why I bought it.
Okay.
They only come out once a year, and they're fucking phenomenal.
Dude, this is fucking great.
Now, I know at some point you're going to have enough of these goddamn leather encased cigar carriers that, you know, you're just paying for the cigar. But
gift them, sell them.
But the truth is, $25 for this cigar is not outrageous.
No.
That's right there in line with some Padrones and Plasencias.
How much is the Julius? Like
17 right now.
Yeah, so that's not bad. Yeah. And this is a limited, so okay.
It's not hateful.
Yeah.
We do have an expensive hobby that's gotten more expensive. We talked about that last week.
Yes.
And getting more expensive. But in any case, this is the J.C. Newman Diamond Crown Cameroon Select, only available in the holiday pack.
Mm-hmm.
Well worth it. We're going to talk about Cameroon tobacco today. The history of it, the tobacco itself, the geography, and part of the history is J.C. Newman was actually the first company to majorly source Cameroon wrappers. Ooh. Because if you remember, J.C. Newman was in Miami, and they were importing all of their tobacco from Cuba. And then we had this thing called the embargo.
Oh.
As Rocky says, communism stinks, cigars no.
Right. You know what's funny? How come in Miami they can smuggle the other stuff in, but they couldn't smuggle Cuban tobacco?
Right.
What the hell, man?
Well, probably because 100 pounds of cocaine sets you up for the rest of your life, and 100 pounds of tobacco makes like 4 cigars. Anyway, they were looking for a replacement wrapper for Cuban Corojo. Now, Corojo is my second favorite wrapper.
Yeah.
Cameron's my favorite. Francisco Almonte of DBL Cigars, you know, he's like, Cameron's my favorite. He used it for his second generation, which is my favorite mild cigar of all time.
Such a weird cinnamony stick, too.
It's delicious. Carlito Fuente has said that he really prefers the Cameroon. A lot of the folks that I know in the industry, they're like, Cameroon wrapper. There's a reason for that. We can talk about it. There's some other good Cameroons out there, but Cameroon tobacco from Cameroon in Africa, there's a limited supply.
Yeah.
Fuente gets whatever they want, and then Oliva really picks up most of the rest, and everyone else fights for whatever's left, right? And so you're seeing more and more Ecuadorian Cameroon.
Yeah.
Now, what's hilarious about that, it's going to come for full circle because we're going to talk about it in the history. But there's like a joke built in there that we'll get to. But don't just assume that a cigar is Cameroon because it says Cameroon. Because a lot of them are like, whatever. Cameroon, whatever. And then you read and it's like wrapper, Ecuadorian Cameroon. It's like, well, that's not the same because sun, soil, seed is only one part of the ingredient. You just planted it in a completely different climate. Right? And it's literally the climate that makes Cameroon special.
Yeah.
Among other things. So, some good ones. The Fuente Hemingway is the most famous. To me, that is the default cigar. I compare all cigars to it. It's not too strong. It's not too mild. It's super flavorful, burns well. It's always constructed. It's the right ring gauge, all of that stuff. To me, it's like the default cigar. And everything else is like on a spectrum around that at the center. That's just how I look at cigars, right? Probably the Oliva Serie G Cameroon is...
Dude, that's such a good stick.
Yes, that's probably the second most easy to find. It's a real Cameroon that's delicious.
The fucking tiny ones are so good.
Yeah, they sell, a Corona?
Yeah.
I think. Or it might be a Petit Gordo. I can't remember
That's a Corona, yeah. They actually have them here, so I was just staring at them, too. That Serie G is so good.
But this is another one. And it's a throwback to Newman's history because they went to Cameroon to replace their Cuban wrappers initially. I can't remember if they even have any core line products that are Cameroon anymore. I don't think they do.
Newman?
Yeah.
No.
This.
This.
This are it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that Fuente blended it, and it's produced at Fuente, and the filler is undisclosed.
Yeah.
Right? I think the reason it's undisclosed is it changes from year to year.
Yeah.
Which helps with cost control. Easier to take care of. So, the initial takeaways of this cigar is incredibly flavorful. We talk about strength and flavor. We used to talk about body, but that's kind of a combination of strength and flavor, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like if you say full bodied, that just means the manufacturer said it was full bodied on the website.
Yeah.
So strength, I'm at like a 5.
Dude, I'm at a mellow 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For right now, and I'm an inch in. You're what, half
an inch.
Yeah.
And then for flavor, I can tell you it's going to be complex.
I'm at mid at the moment.
Yeah, it's already 4 or 5 or 6 flavors.
But I'm just waiting for the other transitions once I get into that second third. I'm exiting the first third here in a moment.
So we talk about simple, mid, and complex. It's not bad to be simple, and it's not good to be complex. It just describes how the flavors work. So a simple cigar has 1 or 2, maybe 3 flavors the whole way through. There's some delicious, amazing, famous cigars that fall into that category. Padron is famous for this. Mid, you have more than 1 or 2 flavors, flavor notes. Usually you have 1 drop off. You might have 1 sort of pick up or emphasize.
I'm starting to pick up some anise.
So it's complex.
Yeah.
You're already adding flavors.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. There's something new coming. It's like I said, getting out of the first third into the second, we're getting something.
And that's a complex. It actually changes flavors.
Yeah.
So that's how we look at cigars. Right now it's, mid to complex. It'll probably end up being a complex cigar. And 4 or 5 for strength. Now it's the strength is odd because it is light.
Yeah. I said it's mellow.
But like like Cuban cigars, which this is designed to mimic, bursting with flavor, floral, aromatic, spices, minerals, herbs, but not heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't, however,
it's not very floral.
It does have, it doesn't have the floral component that a lot of Cuban cigars have. And Cameroon typically doesn't have that note.
Right.
That's what makes it different. But it does have this spicy kick in the back of your palate.
Yeah.
It's not strong. It's not...
Like I said, I don't think it's peppery.
But...
Not like a pepper spice. Not even a cayenne or...
I think most people would just think of it as spicy. Mm-hmm. But you're right that it's different. It reminds me of chicken masala. Yeah. It's almost like an herbal spicy.
Yeah, it reminds me like Indian. Interesting.
All right. It is time for a break. When we come back, we will do our tobacconist tip of the week. Keep your dial locked into Burn Line Podcast. And now your tobacconist tip of the week with Angel Solorio. And we are back on Burn Line Podcast. Uncommon cigar knowledge for the common cigar smoker. El Fumo.
All right.
Our certified retail tobacconist. Take it
It's
away.
not even that important. So tip of the week, since we're talking about the torpedo vitola or whatever you want to fucking call it, because it doesn't matter at this point, Pyramide.
We're going to continue to make fun of cigar taxonomy throughout the life of this show. But go ahead.
Something that I like to do when we're smoking these, all right, it's going to happen regardless because I was using a single blade. I like to angle cut mine just to get a little bit more surface area without, going deeper into the head of these, especially you don't have much shoulder on these.
Yeah, a lot of torpedoes, the cap is different.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a cap. And you run out of cap tobacco fast.
Yeah.
And so cutting at an angle, you can get more surface area without removing as much.
Yeah. So, that's just the tip that I like to do, or something that I like to do. Get more surface area, get more smoking. Because, we've done it, look at that. There's barely any shoulder left. Mm-hmm. And I think you're starting to lose some there.
Yeah. I like to cut mine straight because, I like a firm draw. Mm-hmm. And so I like to cut a little bit off and then maybe a little more if it doesn't open up right.
Naturally, this is a little bit tight of a draw.
Yeah.
Because of the shape.
Good tip of the week. So you can, and of course the increased surface area allows more smoke to come out.
Flavor, smoke, heat.
It reduces tar buildup.
Yeah.
You can get the same effect by cutting it past the cap, past the shoulder. That's one reason I don't like belicosos. I like torpedoes better. There's just more space to cut it.
Yeah.
But,
so this went from a cigar show to a physics show.
Yes. And this week on Burn Line Physics, we talk about how Neil deGrasse Tyson admits there's aliens in your backyard.
Dude, he painfully... Yeah, never mind.
Oh, did this turn into a Neil deGrasse Tyson
oh my God, I'm not.
gossip show? Yes,
I'm not.
Let's do it.
We're going to get canceled.
And canceled in 30.
Don't even get me started. So what does that bring our cigar or podcast portfolio to? Anybody keeping track? Like 15?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes, your show about nothing where we smoke cigars. All right, so let's talk about Cameroon tobacco. We have never done this before. We've talked about Nicaragua. Talked about Dominican Republic a little bit. Let's talk about Cameroon, and we're going to start with the tobacco itself. Yeah. So Cameroon wrappers are grown in Cameroon, Africa. Although a good chunk of it is actually grown in Central African Republic, and it's still called Cameroon.
Let me pull up the map.
This leaf is always sun-grown. It's a bit fragile and brittle to work with. Historically, the leaves have been small.
Sir, every leaf is sun-grown.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to work with and hard to get out of the country, and there's limited crops and whatever, And also, you can't wrap big cigars in it very well. A little bit more on that later. It's expensive. Cameroon tends to be toothy. If you look at this wrapper, it has a light tooth. If you're unfamiliar with the language, toothy refers to little bumps.
It's so shitty, by the way, taxonomy.
Yeah. These little bumps are actually tiny pockets of oil. So think of it like your wrapper has pimples. Cameroon tends to have flavors from the baking spice rack, and because it's thin and delicate, it can't hold up to the Maduro fermentation process. So most are lightly fermented to a Colorado shade, like this one. The climate of Cameroon is tropical with near constant cloud cover, and so you have a natural shade that results in remarkably uniform color to the leaves. So if you go to Nicaragua, sun-grown, you got almost black Ligero, and then you get down to your Velado, and it's green.
Yeah.
You know, like it changes color dramatically.
Yeah.
At least compared to this. It
By
all
the way,
browns up about the same.
Cameroon is almost, is this the correct term? Latitudinally in line with Nicaragua?
Mm-hmm.
So
Same.
north of the...
No, that would be longitudinally.
Longitudinal? Yes.
No, latitudinally.
Latitude's up. Longitude.
Longitude.
Longitudinally,
Same longitude.
yeah, as Nicaragua. So just north of the equator.
Yeah, just north of the equator.
Yeah.
So, uniform color and flavor and deliciously complex but not too strong. And frankly, highly sought after. So, that is Cameroon tobacco. And you'll see it in cigars, but it's almost exclusively used as a wrapper leaf. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is it's limited in supply, and a lot of people want them. I mean, the Fuente Hemingway, how many millions do they sell a year?
A lot.
Of that cigar. You need a lot of tobacco.
As many millions as Johnny Midas has in the account.
Yeah. So, El Fumo, why don't you talk to us about the geography?
All right, geography, let's go. All right, Cameroon is a West African nation that is shaped roughly like a pentagon. The bottom left of the country borders the Gulf of Guyana, Atlantic Ocean. So
I think isn't it the Gulf of Guinea?
Is it Guyana or Guinea? Guinea. That's how you pronounce it.
I think it's Gulf of Guinea.
Guinea, yeah. So, Africa's shaped like a brain. Mm-hmm. And so it would be like the back stem. It's
where the hump comes out in the Atlantic.
It's right in the hump.
Yeah.
So it's in the Gulf. It's a Gulf. While the top left borders Nigeria and the top right borders Chad. That's such an interesting name.
It was named after Chad.
Chad.
He was the guy that discovered it.
Discovered it.
Yeah. Chad.
Yeah.
Keep going.
The bottom right is contiguous with the Central African Republic, where much of Cameroon tobacco is grown. The bottom of the nation borders Equatorial Guinea. Guinea? Damn it, I keep saying Guyana. I was talking about Guyana earlier, that's why.
Guyana. That's a
Guyana.
different country.
I was saying it in Spanish, okay? I got a history lesson earlier. It was pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. Gabon and Republic of Congo. Yaoundé is the capital, located in the center state. Most tobacco is grown in the western coastal side of the country, near Kumba. Nkonsamba and Bakfang, for example. Bakfang, that's Asian sounding.
Bakfang, yeah, a little bit. Well, I don't think the spelling helps.
Yeah.
Because they could have spelled it a lot of different ways.
Well, anyways, Cameroon is also in a very cool spot because it has access to the Western nations, for trade on the ocean. So they have a direct port to, everywhere. That's why it was important, which I'm sure you're going to get to.
Yeah. It's also hopelessly corrupt, terrible infrastructure. It's so bad that Arturo Fuente has never been there, despite being the number one buyer.
I bet it's a safety concern.
Yeah, he has said publicly on at least one podcast that, he wanted to go visit the field, and they're like, no, you don't. Like, you literally don't.
Yeah.
In some cases, you have to hike on foot for miles to get there.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of talk about that in the the history a little bit.
Yeah. Did you hear Francis Ngannou? Do you know who Francis?
Yeah.
Like, he's from Cameroon, and his story is just crazy. Yeah. So, like, if you want a story on how crazy Cameroon is, look up Francis Ngannou talking about him leaving Cameroon to be a UFC champion. But, anyways.
Yeah, that guy's got grit, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm going to make it or I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And he decided not to die. I guess that carries over into the fight ring pretty good, huh?
Yes, it does.
You know? All right, so let's talk about history for Cameroon. So technically, Cameroon should be called African Sumatra.
Ooh.
Because it all began when the Dutch brought tobacco seeds from Indonesia to Africa to experiment with growing around the turn of the 20th century. Now, what does this sound familiar to? You remember our story about, I think it was when we were talking about Mexican San Andres and the history of Mexican tobacco. The exact same fucking thing happened where the Dutch went to the San Andres Valley, planted a bunch of tobacco, and then left.
There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
This is where the joke comes in, because you take Sumatra seed. Now, I do not like Indonesian tobacco historically.
Yeah,
but you
Sumatra's pretty good, though.
Sumatra is Indonesian tobacco. You take that and
That's what I said.
I don't like it.
Okay.
But you plant it in Cameroon, you get something very different because of the sun and the soil. But then you take it back to Ecuador, where they also plant Ecuadorian Sumatra, which is actually a pretty good wrapper. And so if you plant Cameroon seed in Ecuador, how long before it's just Ecuadorian Sumatra?
Right.
You know, because like the tobacco is evolving based on the climate. That's how plants work, you know?
Right.
So it's like a full circle joke if you're selling an Ecuadorian Cameroon wrapper. It's really Ecuadorian Sumatra, which they already produce, you know. Anyway, one thing I haven't heard of, though, is Ecuadorian Piloto. I don't know if the Ecuador historically grew their own native tobacco.
I don't know.
I don't know if they did. Certainly, it doesn't seem to be sold much. I've never seen it anywhere. Unlike Honduras, Honduran Piloto is famous. You know, that goes back to, like, they were giving that to fucking Christopher Columbus. You know, try this Fuma.
Here, we'll be nice, asshole.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dick.
Yeah. We'll just call it cultural misunderstandings. The timing was shit for the Dutch because of World War I.
Yeah.
That wrecked a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
After World War I, Britain and France gained split rule over Cameroon. It had been under German colonial control prior to the war, and so after the war, you know, they really raped Germany, which is kind of a contributing factor to World War II.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things they did. But what's interesting is, and this is how both world wars worked, but Germany did not rule Cameroon. Cameroon was, you know, there's a lot of jungle. There's coastal and there's rainforest jungle in there. And the Germans just moved in and started like, hey, I'm going to put a railroad in. You want to sell me some of your tobacco, whatever it is, you know, controlling exports. Like, they just did stuff. But they didn't have, and so, you know, they had a local, like, constabulary to make sure everyone played nice together. At least the Germans played nice together.
Yeah, there wasn't a treaty or like, hey, come trade.
There wasn't a treaty, there wasn't a government, and there was no government in Cameroon. Like, there was no Cameroon, there was just a bunch of tribes, right? And so, like a lot of colonialism, it was just, we're going to move in and do some stuff, but we don't have a government, it's not our territory, unless we're back in Europe. And then, you know, if France is like, I'm going to go do something in Cameroon, then Germany's like, we're already there, back off, bitch.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, that's how things kind of worked back then.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, we own Cameroon. No, they're just doing stuff. But World War I, all of the powers decided, yeah, let's carve up the world, guys.
Yeah.
Germany was here. Okay, now it's France and Britain. Interestingly, I was like doing history, and I didn't see that Britain took one fucking speck of interest in Cameroon. I don't know if they had stuff going on there, but it wasn't enough that anybody remembered.
England didn't see the future in Europe. It was mostly like that northern, you know, that space in between Africa and mainland Europe. You know, like, hey, we need to
the Mediterranean basin.
Yeah, just that was important to England.
Yeah, like
they saw the future there.
Casablanca. And,
Yeah,
like that. that
Morocco,
northern Africa.
Yeah, Morocco and all that. That's where they saw the future, which they're not partly wrong.
From a military strategic standpoint, it's way more important to put resources there.
Right.
Nowadays, you look at, like Congo is adjacent to Cameroon. You have Cameroon, so like the amount of minerals they have that we need for electric cars.
Yeah.
It's like, oops, bet on the wrong countries. Yeah. So they gained split rule over Cameroon, even though the Germans didn't really rule it. And France took over control of the tobacco production and brought it into mainstream distribution. The French government established the Société d'Exploitation. See, they even put exploitation right in the name.
Yeah.
Industrielle des tabacs et des allumeries. That's French.
Yeah. Now say it the right way so the French don't get pissed at us.
I can't say it the right way. It's French.
You speak, you got a little Cajun. You can speak.
Je ne comprends pas le français.
Okay.
But it was a governing organization that controlled the procurement and export of Cameroon tobacco. So the dynamic is not much different today. So I'll just kind of explain it here. You have farmers. Right now there's over 3,000 farmers in Cameroon that have their own little patches. They're hard to get to. A lot of them are in the fucking rainforest, adjacent to, like they'll clear out a spot, but it's surrounded by rainforest. Getting in and out, like you better have a fucking Land Rover Defender 100.
Or a Toyota.
Prefer a Land Cruiser, but yeah. But you got to have something, all-wheel drive-y, Nissan Patrol.
Or an elephant.
Or an elephant, yeah. Hard to get to, rural, lots of mountains, tons of mountains, rainforest, all kinds of, and then you have the rainy season, fill in the blank. Although the coastal region is very temperate. They don't, they get a rainy season, but it's not like Indonesia.
Yeah, they don't get monsoons or shit like that.
And so basically the farmers grow stuff, and like France sent in, who did they send in? I don't think I wrote it down. I forget the guy's name, but this famous guy in the 50s to teach them cultivation techniques. So you had a little bit of that, but mostly the farmers grow it and then find a way to get it to market. And then the tobacco company, distribution company, takes it from there. Mm-hmm. Right? So not even close to, like if you go to the Dominican Republic, you have companies there. They have fields, they have barns, they have rolling, they have all of this stuff. And a lot of the farms are integrated into the cigar company. Mm-hmm. Right? You have some independent farms, but you also have a lot that are just integrated into the company. In Cameroon, there are no cigar companies. There's just farmers. Mm-hmm. And they do some stuff there in barns and whatever, but even like the curing and aging, a lot of that, they just export the leaf and then do all of that at the factories and barns. At Fuente, for example. Mm-hmm. So the French were basically, okay, y'all bring it here to the depot. We're going to take it to the coast. Mm-hmm. We're going to sell it. Newman was actually one of the first companies to purchase high-quality tobacco leaves from Cameroon to replace the Cuban Corojo that was no longer available after the embargo. So Stanford Newman believed that although the taste wasn't exactly the same as Cuban, it offered a highly flavorful experience without being too strong, which is the hallmark of a Cuban wrapper leaf. So Cameroon gained independence in 1960, but the French still controlled tobacco exports, and they nearly killed the industry. In fact, they meddled with free trade so much that manufacturers just stopped buying it, and the French decided there wasn't any demand for the product. The allegations are that the French were rigging the bid-buy process. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know, and the French still strongly deny this allegation. I don't know about rigging, but I do know that the way they sold the tobacco is they had a book, a brochure, for companies to bid on this lot, and they would have one leaf as a sample. Oh. And so companies would bid, and then they would just bitch about the quality to price ratio, right? So if you go to a tobacco auction in Nicaragua, for example, like there's bales, and you're like, that bale, I want that one, because I looked through the leaves, I know what I'm getting, and I also know what I'm willing to pay for it. I can kind of guess how many good quality cigars I can get out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
I know that was gone. Now that's not rigging, but it is shitty. It's just bad business.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're kind of like, it's in Cameroon. I can sail it across the Atlantic easy to Nicaragua or Dominican Republic or wherever you're rolling your cigars. I can't ship it to Europe and then across the ocean. Like, I just tripled the transit time, and it's not necessarily good for the leaves.
Right.
But all the auction bidding was happening in Europe, you know, and I guess they weren't smart enough to do the bidding in fucking Nicaragua or whatever, you know, I don't know. But it didn't work out. So in 1993, the French gave up, which turned out to be one of the worst moves in history because that was just before the cigar boom.
They're really good at that.
Yes.
Put them
like
and canceled in France.
Right before the cigar boom. Now, at this point, a family-owned, it's a large tobacco brokerage in Belgium. So all they do is connect tobacco growers and leaf with cigar manufacturers. M. Mirapfel and Son Company. Rick Mirapfel was the son in M. Mirapfel and Son. It's spelled Son because it's Belgian, but they stepped in, and Rick said he just couldn't let it die. He's like, they made such a phenomenal product, they couldn't let it die. So he formed CTAC, which stands for something else in French that I also can't pronounce, but it's a co-op with local farmers to manage exports, and they resurrected distribution and sales and quickly brought Cameroon back, and even helped it become one of the most sought-after and delightful wrapper leaves ever. As I mentioned, it's famous for its use in Fuente, Hemingway, and Don Carlos cigars. Rick passed away in 2003 at 52, so he was young.
That's young.
His two sons now run it. It's still a family-owned company. They still have great relationships with the African farmers, and they have done their best and are still trying to invest in horticulture and agriculture to improve the size and durability of the tobacco without ruining the classic Cameroon experience. It's just challenging because it's so many farmers. They are spread out, and you know, if you're 5 miles away in the rainforest, you might as well be in another fucking country. Like, that is a long ass fucking, you know, you could die.
You're gonna die.
You could die.
Not you could. You're gonna die.
Like traveling 5 miles through the rainforest, you could die. You know. And of course, there is a lot of corruption. You know, technically there's a government, but it's never really recovered from the fact that they didn't have, like, the people didn't have or believe in a central government. They always had tribes, and they still behave that way a lot. You always have some warlord that discovers, you know, AK-47s and Jeeps and decides that they can take what they want and, you know, stuff like that. They're always dealing with uprisings. And, you know, they have these weird religious, like Christian or sometimes Muslim warlords that are like, you know, let's conquer in the name of the Christ or whatever, you know. So, you know, anytime you throw in zealotry, it's like, oh, Christ, you know, not like, that's bad. You know, if it was just a fucking greedy guy with a gun, we've been dealing with that in Europe for a long time. But if you have true believers, you know, now it's a problem. And so that's made their attempts, you know, it's watered it down. It's hard to do, but they're invested and they've done a fantastic job. So, like I mentioned, I know a lot of guys in the industry that really think Cameroon is the wrapper to go with. Now, for me personally, I love it, and I love cigars with a Cameroon wrapper because I like lighter floral, aromatic, Cuban-esque cigars. But there's so many damn good wrappers now. You know, Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro. Now, that is a leaf designed for Maduro aging. You know?
I guess you could say the Amish are Dutch, aren't they?
Are they?
Are they? Yeah,
So that is Cameroon. You've probably seen, Cameroon wrapped cigars. If you ever wondered, that's what it is. That's the history and the current state. Like I said, there's no cigar companies out there in Cameroon. It's really just farmers. It all gets exported, and they make a delicious, tasty wrapper. So
It is really good.
on that note, you'll notice how fragile it is. I got some splits, some
really?
holes, stuff like that. That tends to happen with Cameroon wrappers.
Yeah.
Hard to work with.
Fantastic.
The band is incredibly important on the Cameroon because, like I said, with my Fuentes, you can just pull the wrapper right
Fuck.
off.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I did.
Holy fuck. All right. Saved it. Got it.
Saved it.
So it's like half glue. I don't even know what they use, but it's light.
Yeah, that's just Elmer's glue. All right, some tasting notes. I have a bready component that came in. The sweetness reminds me of an unsweet fruit.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of a good example. Like a dragon fruit.
I was going to say dragon fruit.
Yes, like
unsweet.
a dragon fruit, where it's like it does have fruit sweetness, but it's not like sweet like an orange or fucking watermelon or something.
Yeah.
Almost a little bit of that pasty flavor
Okay.
that you get from breadfruit or dragon fruit for that matter. So yeah, definitely a fruity and bready component. A little sweetness, but it's not sweet. Still a little bit of a spicy in the back of your palate.
Getting something from the baking rack. Still.
Yeah, definitely. There's baking soda. There's cinnamon still. I think there's a hint of nutmeg in there,
Okay.
but delightfully complex. Like you can just start picking apart the flavors. This is a silent cigar. This is the kind of cigar where you sit there and don't talk and just enjoy the cigar
Yeah.
and appreciate all the flavors.
It's definitely a complex stick. Mm-hmm. I'm still sitting at like 5 now for strength.
I'm at a 5.
Yeah. It's not a strong stick.
It's not like nicotine strength is not there. In terms of harshness on the palate, it's not really harsh, but it's definitely not creamy, smooth, mellow. So it lacks strength, but it is not like light. It's not mild. It's not creamy.
But I like that it's not heavy.
You know what it reminds me of? Not in the flavor, but in the palate experience. You ever had a ginger snap cookie?
I think so.
You know how a ginger snap is it kind of bites your palate a little bit?
Okay, yeah.
It's not harsh, but it's definitely not like a sweet cookie. I mean, it's sweet, but, that ginger grabs you. It reminds me of that. And maybe, you know what?
Snickerdoodle.
I wonder if the spicy I'm tasting is gingery. You know how we were
Ginger
saying?
has a bite, yeah.
Yeah, you know how we were saying it's like a vegetable kind of...
I know ginger's a root, but ginger almost reminds me of citrus too, though.
That's missing. I don't have a citrus
No,
component.
I'm talking about like ginger in general.
Yeah. That's missing from the cigar. I don't have a citrus component, so maybe ginger's not the right, but it is reminiscent of ginger. Or even watercress. You ever had watercress? Mm-mm. It's like that vegetable spicy.
Watercress?
Yeah. It's like a lettuce that grows in the water, I think. Maybe it grows in the ground. Anyway, I think it's time for our second break, and when we come back, we will do our cigar news of the week. Don't go away. Now your cigar news of the week with Angel Solorio.
All right, news of the week. Breaking news. 2025 Amazon Basin.
Yes, it is out and sold out.
Not yet.
I mean, every place I've looked is sold out.
Yeah.
They'll get more shipments.
Yeah, no surprise, though. 25. I think that's never going to go away, the Amazon basin every year.
It better not.
Better not. And then, again, hashtag not sponsored. JC Newman is releasing the Jose Gaspar 2025.
Yeah, who was Gaspar? Jose Gaspar was a famous dude.
I don't know who that dude is,
All right.
but yes, you are correct, though.
How about this? You keep going with the news. I'm going to Google that.
So, anyways, it's going to have an MSRP of $8, which is freaking great. Most likely, it is going to be sold only in 17 locations in the Tampa area, but obviously, it'll make it into our hands one way or another.
Yes, okay. So, Jose Gaspar.
Pirate.
He is most commonly known by his nickname Gasparilla. He's a mythical Spanish pirate who supposedly terrorized the Gulf of Mexico, southwest Florida, during the Second Spanish period, which, in case you don't know, Florida's Second Spanish period was during the United States of America, but we hadn't got down there yet.
Yeah.
The USA wasn't that big yet. We didn't include Florida.
Yeah, I wonder if he knew Jack Sparrow.
He probably knew Jack Sparrow, but you have heard of me.
You have heard of him.
He was called the Last of the Buccaneers and supposedly had a ginormous cache of cash. And died by leaping from his ship rather than being captured by the U.S. Navy, and his treasure is still hidden. However, there's no evidence he existed. So there's also zero physical artifacts linking him to any area where he was supposedly established his pirate kingdom. So, you know what I think.
It's a lot of pirates. That's how it goes, though.
I think that Jose Gaspar was real, and his treasure's real, and we need to find it.
Yeah. Also coming this year, the Stork Club. So, yes. So, So the Stork Club was an iconic Manhattan nightclub, which operated from 29 to 65. So a lot of famous people went there, and then a lot of famous people also didn't go there.
And I believe there's rumored to be one or two mob hits that happened there.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? There's no...
I think the Rat Pack hung out.
Yeah. So like I said...
But it was highfalutin.
Highfalutin. So it's going to be a 6x52 Toro, Mexican Senators wrapper over a Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan fillers.
Sounds
MSRP
strong.
15 a stick.
For a Toro?
Yeah,
that's
not bad.
It's not bad.
It's being
Average
made by
price nowadays.
Kingmaker Cigar Company, which also made the Kelsey Plum cigar.
Yes.
For those people that...
Didn't they make the Ed Reed cigar?
I believe so.
Or they were
They made some
responsible
other
for it?
famous people's cigars.
I think they might have made Jordan's cigar too.
No.
No? Okay, I was wrong.
Negative Ghost Rider. No, the people that made Jordan Cigar made Legendary 52.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
The Legendary 52 is produced
Inside
by...
scoop.
Yes.
From Burnline.
Yes.
So-
if we were really smart, we would have made that episode 52.
Yeah. We didn't plan that.
We didn't plan ahead that far.
No. All right. Tatuaje is going to be releasing the Boris Karloff, and it's releasing this week.
Of course. They have their monster series and everything, so Boris Karloff makes sense. Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Boris Karloff is the famous Frankenstein. The cigar is 5 by 58 or 5 and 5/8 by 49. It's like, dude, if you're making a Frankenstein stick, that needs to be a massive stick. Not like, what the hell?
Does it have like patches on the wrapper? That would be cool.
No, it does not. I don't have a picture of the stick, unfortunately. So
Like just like a Frankenstein,
Or like
3 wrapper leaves,
maybe some like post.
bolts to it. Yeah, some bolts through the.
So you got to
neck of
smoke
the
through the
cigar.
bolts.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's gonna be an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Yeah, or a Nicaraguan double binder and Nicaraguan filler.
Interesting.
So that'll be cool as shit. This was released in 2020 before, but now it's back. It was a 6 by 5/8 by 49 Grand Corona, so that makes a little bit more sense.
So this
it's
was
pretty-
short. Same ring gauge. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so 1,000 boxes, 20 sticks per box, 15 a stick, so it's not terrible, you know.
That's the price nowadays.
Yeah. By the way, dude, the from like the 20s to what mid 60s best horror monster movie ever.
Yeah, definitely. He had a name. for horror movies. He was in, wasn't he in, what was that comedy horror movie? Was it maybe The Three Stooges?
No. It was another one, like The Son of Frankenstein.
There was one he was in that was like a comedy, and he played the creepy guy in it. Yeah, he had a lot of range as an actor, but he got typecast fast, and he was creepy as fuck, man.
Yeah,
I mean, for those days, at least.
I mean, that era made some of the best like horror monster series. Like, today, okay, we have the tech, but it sucks. It's not as good.
Well, it's the way that they use the music and the scene and the set. It was still theatrical. You know, now it's like, oh, I have the tech to show somebody ripping somebody's guts out. Let's do it. You know, it's like, yeah, but that's not actually that scary.
Yeah.
Like, it's gory, big whoop. You know.
Yeah. So West Tampa made an EP collab. It's called the Circle of Life. Will be releasing
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yes. So is Carrillo producing the cigar in their factory, or is West Tampa? Okay.
Yep. It's being produced by Casa Carrillo in Santiago, DR.
All right.
So it is going to be a core line too. So that'll be cool shit. The blend uses Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper and Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, and a filler that uses tobacco from Nicaragua, Jalapa, Condega, and Esteli.
So it has two wrappers?
Uh-huh.
It's a double wrapper.
It's a double wrapper.
Damn. Okay, I'm excited.
As well as Dominican Corojo 99.
All right, get your hands on that. We're smoking that on the show.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing that one.
So that'll be cool as shit. So, dude, like, this is why we gave West Tampa a fucking award.
Oh, yeah, their marketing is off the chain.
Yeah.
Their branding is awesome.
And then Davidoff Winston Churchill Limited Edition 25, The Artist, is also coming out this week.
Yeah, we can skip that.
We can skip that.
It's just another Davidoff cigar that's overpriced and tastes the same.
Oh, my God.
I'm not against them. It's just I don't cotton to them.
Yeah.
Speaking of not cottoning to them, Brenda started watching 1883.
Did you start watching it with her, though?
Yeah.
Dude, it's good.
We just got to the part where the guy dies.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Which guy? Of all guys?
I'm just saying. You know who I'm talking about.
I don't know.
The boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Dude, there's a lot of people dying.
A lot of people did die.
Yeah, dude, it's been out for a while. We can spoil alert, and it's coming.
The next season's coming.
Yeah,
gotta watch it. Tyler Sheridan collection.
Yeah,
Landman is fucking hit. That's his best.
Yeah,
that's his best show. Like that is
Landman is so good.
It's so fake. Like because I lived in Texas and my wife worked for an oil company. Like it is so fake. In fact, the American Petroleum Institute has ads on it about like. This is fake, you know, but it's so good, you know.
One of the funniest things is all the actual people that work on oil platforms. The biggest thing is the guy hammering the valve.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that is the weakest. Like,
yeah, he's like, I'm like,
you're not banging it hard enough.
Yeah, you're gonna get that fucking valve open. Good luck.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's why he blew up. So,
yeah,
that's what you get for being a bitch.
He didn't hit it hard enough to blow up.
All right.
Meanwhile, back on the cigar podcast.
You know, I'm surprised he hasn't come out with a cigar yet, like a Taylor Sheridan cigar or something. You know, well, I know they had the Lee Marsh's cigar on there for Yellowstone.
Yeah. He collabed with Lee Marsh. Yeah, I don't. You know what? Lee should come out with a Yellowstone cigar,
or just like a Taylor Sheridan
or Tyler Sheridan
something.
He's a good storyteller, though. If you like that gritty Western feel, his stories are.
I know it tickles your fancy.
Was he involved in Fargo?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I really have no idea.
Okay, right, well, we just started a rumor. All right, go ahead.
Oh, not last one, but La Aurora 100 Años is going to get a new box, and it's going to be debuted at TPE 2025.
Okay.
Something we kind of talked about. TPE. Yeah. There's a lot of expos coming this year, guys, so keep your eye out for that. And then last one, Spain is going to have a 5% increase on Cuban tobacco. So just like everybody else.
Yeah. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So after the 3-week lull of news, because it's just the end of the year, holidays.
Yeah. So thank you for that news of the week, and it is time to rank this cigar. By the way, my initial band, you can see it is glued to the wrapper.
There's some glue.
I'm not surprised because these are made by Fuente.
Yep, that's fantastic.
It's my constant, that's my one gripe with Fuente is they glue a lot of their Bands to the wrapper.
All right, final band test.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, this one's glued too. You can see that flick of tobacco. Make sure that gets on camera.
Yep.
Not awesome, but we'll see what affects the smoking experience. And let's start with presentation. So this leather case, gorgeous. The cigar itself, the only gripe I have is with the secondary band that kind of clashed. For the price point, I think it's a really good presentation.
Magnifique.
I'd probably go with a 7.
7 for presentation?
7 or 8.
I'd go with 8.
8?
I thought it was good.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
7 is
secondary-
good. 8 is really good. 9 is like, okay, you don't have a lot of competitors.
Yeah. No, but 8 is good. I think the price point and the way it comes, it's like, dude, you can't really beat it if you want to buy it.
All right, so construction. We didn't have any construction issues. I split my cap up here, cutting it. We do have to take some points off for chunks of wrapper coming off from the bands being glued on. Burn has been fine. Really haven't had to touch it up. Smoke output is great. No inconsistencies. It's not like your Davidoff where you had to chop off half your cigar because of the poor construction quality.
I lost a whole stick on that.
Yeah, I think I can take 2 points off. One for the cracked cap and one
So
for
8?
our wrappers. I think 8.
8's fine. Yeah. I didn't have any issues, but definitely better than the last stick.
All right, so price. This is, I don't know. This one's a little tough for me because it's expensive. If you want the Cameroon, you get 2 of them. Smoke with a friend. And the third one is a Maximus Belicoso. It was delicious. I smoked it. I paired it with a mid Winter Nights dram for Christmas.
Okay.
My Christmas celebration.
Christmas.
But $75, you know, depending on where you get it, you're going to spend $70 to $100. But we're going to just call it 75.
Yeah.
So it's $25 a stick. But you get this gorgeous case. If you don't have one yet, you know, I mean, it's a thing.
Say 8? I mean...
No, I don't think the price is that good.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, it's
5
tough
is middle of the road.
It's yeah, like you said, it's hard to gauge because of how you have to get it.
Because of how you have to get it. It's not a great deal, but it's not a bad deal. I'm closer to a 5. I could go 6.
Let's go 6. It's not terrible. I like it.
All right, we'll do that. It's just unfortunate. You have to shell out a big chunk of change. You get something for your money. And with this one, because you have 2 Cameroons that you can't get anywhere else any time of year, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
It's just not good. All right, let's talk about flavor.
Flavor is really good. It complex. Like there's a bunch of stuff in there, and there's a couple things I couldn't nail down. So for a Cameroon, it was a little mysterious too. Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm gonna say 8 or 9ish.
Yeah, I think I had a 9 on there.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good flavor. Now, if you're into heavy cigars, you won't. You know, it's not going to be your favorite. If
But I'm
you're,
not gonna. I'm a heavy cigar guy, but I'm
still
enjoying
like
the
it.
mellowness.
Yeah.
Because you can taste the flavors.
Yes. And still, you know, like, if you like the sweet, molassesy flavor of Maduro, it's not in there. Mm-hmm. But you have other great flavors. If you like Connecticut's and light, smooth cigars, it's too strong for you and a little too peppery. But it's just delicious.
Yeah.
And I think for most cigar smokers, if you're regular, like, you kind of have to try it, you know. By the way, if you can't find this and you want to get a similar experience, you could buy, like, a Hemingway. The Oliva Serie G Cameroon does have a, I think, significantly different taste. This is very close cousins, and like I said, it's from Fuente. Mm-hmm. His palate didn't change. He didn't magically change it just for the cigar. And it's rolled by Fuente. Mm-hmm. So you can get close with a Hemingway, but anyway. So that brings us to experience. A couple of things. One is the experience with this is going to be limited.
Yeah.
Because it's limited availability, limited edition, expensive. You might not even be able to experience it.
Right.
And then you're damn sure not going to waste it. Mm-mm. So you can just scratch off anything like
Yard work, dog walk, grilling.
football party, grilling, This is more like a lounge cigar, a celebration cigar. You can gift it, absolutely. You can gift the whole pack or even one cigar because they can't get it.
Or just the case.
Or just the case. Smoke the cigars and gift the case, yeah.
Here you go.
But you can gift the individual cigar because you can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only way to get it. And it's once a year. So the experience is limited, but not a bad experience.
Right.
And then as far as us smoking it, man, it had a great vibe.
Yeah, it did, dude.
Like, it has this luxury, but not too refined. Like, I might kick your ass, but also I'm wealthy and luxurious, you know.
Good conversation starter, though, if you're sitting there and they're like, whoa, what's that?
Dude, if you can listen to our podcast and get educated on Cameroon and share that with your friends, oh, yeah, that's going to be awesome. And even the history of Newman, like, this is literally a tribute to their history as well as to Cameroon. So I've got like a 7.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, 4 or 5 because of how limited it really is.
Oh, you think so?
But like 6, though, like you said, though, as an actual experience.
No, I think you're right with a 5. I think it's right in the middle.
Okay.
Because it is super... no, but...
I know, it sucks
but
that
if you can't experience it, it's a great experience.
That's what I'm saying. Like an actual rating.
Let's do 6.
Okay, I'm good with 6, but I'm just saying like actual rating 4 or 5 because of how limited it really is.
Unless you get to experience.
Right.
If you do, once you're smoking it, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, that brings the total score to 37.
Yeah.
For this J.C. Newman Cameroon Select.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty damn good score.
Yeah, it's a good score, definitely. I would say it probably would have been a 40 if it wasn't for just the limited.
Yeah. If you could buy just the cigar, I think that the price and experience would both go up even if the individual stick was $25.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not a hateful price for it.
Yeah.
So it just has to do with availability and how it's gone to market.
Yeah.
The marketing on it. So... But fantastic gift, by the way, if you have a cigar person in your life. Every Christmas for a while, these have come out. This is just the first one with 2 Cameroons.
Yeah.
So.
That's literally the only thing holding the cigar back.
Mm-hmm. All right, what is coming up on Burnline Podcast? Lots of stuff. We're going to try the new Emerald from Rocky Patel. We're going to try to get our hands on... I want to get my hands on the Stork Club because I want to collect it. Might smoke it. We're going to do the Circle of Life. We got stuff coming up for the shows. We'll talk to you about them and why they matter to you as a cigar consumer.
TPE's coming up, PCA's coming up, and then TA later in the year.
We'll do some more reviews, and wanted to end with a big shout out to our contest winners. First of all, thank you to Cigar Design for providing the vintage, which I have right here. That is the open-ended single guillotine cutter. This is fucking slick. As well as the Spark, which is a 3-torch or 3-jet butane torch with a flip-out bullet punch at the bottom. They provided one of those as well. So, shout out to the Bearded Chubby Life and Cigar Lover 3 for winning that contest. And those are in the mail today while we're recording this. When it comes out, they will have been... You'll probably have gotten them already.
Yeah.
Didn't put them in the mail yesterday because... Well, we had a bunch of snow and everything shut down.
Yes.
So, sorry about that.
Can't grow cigars in the snow, damn it.
I can't grow cigars in the snow. West Tampa Tobacco, if you're listening, send us your address. We still have to send your award out.
Getting that contact out. So.
Yeah, I asked them on Insta. We'll see if they respond. But I believe this is the last episode of Season 2. And so, next week we open up Season 3 of Burnline Podcast. Nothing will change. It's not exciting. Don't tune in for that. Tune in because, well, we're the best damn cigar podcast that there is.
We're going to have more graphics on the video. We're going to do this. And
professional strippers. Stuff like that.
I don't know. It's crazy shit.
Yeah, Las Vegas stuff.
We're going to have, like, stock tickers on the bottom. And I don't know.
All of that. All right. Thanks for joining us on Burnline Podcast. Have a great week. We will see you again in 7 days.